There are increasing concerns about the consequences the war with Iran will have for the war in Ukraine. That war is now in its 5th year, and on a tangible level, a new war is requiring a significant amount of military assets, ammunition, equipment, and intelligence, which is dwindling global supplies at a time when Ukraine is still in dire need. Also, it's sort of hard to imagine how the United States' peace efforts could possibly succeed given America's own actions. The United States, an aggressor power in a war, convincing a non-ally, Russia, an aggressor power in a different war, to cease and desist. It seems highly unlikely, especially when you consider that the U.S. and Russia are aiding each other's enemies. Russia has repeatedly stated it will not move from Putin's demand to completely seize 4 Ukrainian regions. You see them here in green, Luhansk and Donetsk, collectively known as the Donbas region, along with Zaporizhia and Kherson. And you can see on this map that demand includes territory which Russia actually does not control. The areas in red, Russia controls. The areas in green, Russia is demanding, but remain under Ukrainian control right now. I want to draw your attention to the small town of Shakhtarsk, which is roughly 50 miles from the front and 30 miles west of the Donetsk region border. Up until 2024, Shakhtarsk was called Pershotravsk. That name was changed by a Ukrainian government intending to distance the country from its Russian and Soviet past when it was ruled from Moscow. Shakhtarsk is the former Pershotravsk. It's the hometown of my friend Anastasia Spot, Nastya for short. I met Nastya in Warsaw, Poland in March of 2022, less than a month into the war. She was a guest on this show, joining me from a hotel balcony overlooking one of the presidential palace's courtyards. She was 15 years old at the time. Nastya had fled her hometown and her home country with her mother and her sisters, leaving behind her grandparents and her father, Victor, who served as a chaplain in the military. Yet under the most trying and desperate of times, this young Ukrainian refugee showed unbelievable courage and compassion and was focused on helping other Ukrainian refugees. We will pray for your father, and I'm sure he's going to be fine.
Thank you, but you are supporting us. Thank you. It's very important, not for me. It's important for my family and my friends. And we're very grateful Chabad and many volunteers who support Ukraine, because if not these people, I don't live in street or train station. So thank you.
You're going to those train stations. You've been going there and helping people, giving them food. I guess that must make you feel a little better, at least.
Yeah, it makes me feel better, because I know that I'm not alone and who lost everything.
You're not alone.
Thank you.
You're not alone for sure. Thank you for being with us.
Can I hug you?
We'll get through this.
Yeah.
Nastya, along with her sisters and mother, were able to return to Ukraine several months later, and they got the chance to briefly reunite with her father, Victor, during a short reprieve from his service on the front lines. I next spoke with Nastya in August of 2022, 6 months into the war, by which time her father was back on the front.
He called me sometimes, but there's really, really bad connection when I meet him. My dad told me he's so terrified, stuff, what's going on there in front line, and I just start crying. And when I in first time meet my dad, like first time in 6 months, I'm just cry. And dad started to tell me the stories how they hide, and his car was destroyed. So, and thanks God, I'm really grateful God, because he saved my dad.
As the months stretched into a year, Nastya was forced to grow up as a child of war. In February 2023, a year into the full-scale invasion, I met Nastya again. We reunited in person in Pershotravsk, as it was still known. That was her hometown in Ukraine. I met with her family. We shared a special lunch, something which Nastya said was extra special since her family was rarely able to all gather around a table together anymore because of the war. The sound of air raid sirens were constant, a danger which I always noticed, but which Nastya had been forced to accept as routine and part of her normal new life.
The first time when it started, like in March, February, it was really dangerous. I always had a lot of anxiety, cry, and just don't understand what's going on. And now it's part of life. It's like war changed everything. Like your minds. I grew up in just one day, one night, like wake up 4 a.m. and you just grow up, and you just understand that a lot of people now not live, just exist. And people just try to survive. Even my friends, we work, we see sirens, but we just We just not see this as so dark as it is, because we try to enjoy life. I didn't have time to be a kid.
My friend Nastya Shpot is now 19 years old, and while she may have lost her childhood in some ways to this war, she has never lost her positive outlook. She's been living in the United Kingdom, focusing on her education. Last fall, Nastya started college at the University of Sheffield. She's studying politics and international relations. Last summer, the last time she was in Ukraine, she served as a military translator, assisting a group of British journalists near the front. My friend, who was once so afraid of her father being at the front lines, is now following in his footsteps, continuing to serve her country and her people any way she can. Joining me now is my friend Nastya Shpot. Nastya, it's great to see you again.
I think it's good afternoon. I'm really, really happy to talk to you. It's been a while.
It's been a long time since we met. And I want to ask you, one of the things you said to me on that balcony in Poland, you had already started, it was just days into the war, and you were already thinking about how you can best help your country. And you said you want to get an education because that way you can help your country. And now you're there. I mean, you were a high school kid at the time, and now you're studying in university.
Yeah, my life is quite shifted, but I'm really grateful that I have opportunity to continue my childhood dream to get an education and pursue my career in the field that I always wanted to do. And I know this field is quite challenging, especially with the current circumstance, but the politics was a passion of mine since really, really early childhood. So I feel like it's a portion of me in a sense.
Tell me about that. Why was politics a passion of yours then? And of course, even as a kid, I mean, things changed when you were 15. The whole world changed. Like politics is now a passion of everybody's.
Yeah, it's true. But I feel like because of my upbringing, I lived in a family where I always was involved in conflict. My dad went to the front line when I was 8. So I remember at home when we had our first revolution in Ukraine. As the revolution that I remember, it was 2014. I remember I've been monitoring TV 24/7, and I've been always involved in that. And when the conflict started involved in Ukraine, and it was my experience, and I seen my dad going to the front line and how he's back and the people he talks to, I think it influenced me. And I was like, this is my moment. This is something that I want to do. And I don't want other people to feel something that I felt in my childhood. And especially, as I mentioned, like when I was 15, I kind of lost my childhood in the sense that I've been involved in the war, in an active conflict.
I remember when I met you, I wondered how you were as optimistic as you are. And then when I got to Ukraine and I went to Eastern Ukraine and I met your family and I met your father, I understood in that moment. It's like, oh, I get it. Having met your father, how is he doing?
I think he's great, right? He came a couple days ago to UK. He retired from the army because of his health problem. They became quite severe, especially when he was like in the front line for quite a long time. But I'm really, really happy that he's back and now he's with our family. And it feels nice to reunite, but now I'm in Sheffield, so it feels, I wanted to go home. I want to go to Oxford and see my family, but hopefully soon I will.
Does this, I mean, are you puzzled that we're talking 5 years later? I don't know that either of us thought this would still be going on, but it's still going on. What are your hopes and views about what happens now in Ukraine?
The last time I've been in Ukraine, it was 6 months ago. And at that moment, I felt unsafe. The front line is getting closer and closer. And in Ukraine, I get really transformative experience in terms of experience the front line and everything. And when I went to the front line, and it was not that far, it literally took 40 minutes in the car to get there. I've been praying all day long, and when I came from the front line to Shakhtarsk, then I heard explosions, And I'm still remains optimistic, but as far as I know, the situation even in my hometown is quite tricky and quite dangerous. So I'm praying that everything would play out in the best outcome possible. But yeah, but it's hard.
You know quite well that I don't know any Ukrainian. The few words I know, you've taught me. When they told me that the name of your hometown had changed, I thought to myself, now you're just joking with me, right? I could hardly pronounce the old one, and it's changed. Tell me a little bit about the story behind that.
Honestly, I don't know. So for me, when I found out that they changed the name, I found it too hilarious because I still don't understand why they did this. I know they wanted to get rid of all these Soviet and Russia roots, and I completely understand this, and I support that. But at the same time, I found it hilarious because Bershatravinsk is the 1st of May on Ukrainian language, and then they change it to Shakhtarsky, and Shakhtarsky from Ukrainian translates like the sea town of people who works in mines, because our town is popular by mines. So even it took me a while to learn how to pronounce my own town. So,
All right, so I'm not alone. Tell me, we're showing a picture of you with a bulletproof vest and gear on. I mean, my parents, I've been doing this for a long time. My parents still get worried when I go into a war zone. But I guess in your parents' case, your father existed in a war zone. How does that feel to you to be at the front lines?
It felt, because I went there with 2 British journalists. I've been lucky enough, I had an experience to assist them. And also was with my father and some other people, some other crew. And to be fair, my dad was like, you would never go to the front line. And it took me 1 week, every night, presentation why I should to go to the front line. I've been convincing my father because I wanted to experience what it's like. And when we went there together and I saw everything, he was like, okay, Anastasia. And then he was like, maybe would you like to join Ukrainian army? And I was like, perhaps not right now. Perhaps I'm going to go to politics. But yeah, it was really interesting. It was really informative.
Yeah. Well, you've had a formative few years. It's great to see you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You have to say it in Ukrainian for me. The last thing you said when we were in the same place together, you said, may you have peaceful skies. What is the expression in Ukrainian?
Бажаю вам мирного неба.
That's it. I'm still not going to try and say it, but thank you for that. Nastya Shpot for us. We will stay in close touch with you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.